Dead Rabbits dropped their new album Redefined.
We got to chat with Craig
Yeah.
about the new record on the
hmm
podcast. It will be out Friday.
hmm
So this review will be out before the interview.
Yeah.
And the album is super cool.
hmm
One thing we chatted about in that interview is Craig, using this as a creative outlet to kind of get weird,
hmm
and do things out of the box, because there's so many moving parts with Escape the Fate that they stick to doing the what works for Escape the Fate, where he likes to have this outlet to kind of do whatever. There's less moving parts, and can just do what comes to mind, and that absolutely comes through with the record.
hmm
Especially, like, I noticed listening through it again today that it is front loaded with the weird shit. Like,
Yeah.
if you
Heavy.
want, like, you're coming to this as Escape the Fate fan, not really sure what Craig is doing with Dead Rabbits, and you're like scared of weird shit, like, you start with songs like Mistake, Misleading, Understand.
hmm
Like, those songs are pretty, like, straight up metalcore songs with some hints of
A
that
little
weird
weird.
production type things that are going on with the album. But if you just turn this on, it kicks off with Artificial Gods, which is so badass.
It's so
um
dope.
and was compared to, by me when we reviewed it, and then by Craig in the interview, to The Path to Totality by Korn.
hmm
So if you're a fan of that album, like I am, you'll probably think this album is really dope, because it's honestly one of the closest things I've heard to that record in a while.
hmm
I love the way this record opens. Trapped is awesome. Oxygen with Attila is badass.
Oh, that
Hellscape,
song is fucking good.
with Wednesday 13 and Stitched Up Heart, is phenomenal as well. I really like when this record gets weird.
hmm
That's ultimately what I'm coming away with. I love songs like Mistake, Misleading, like I mentioned.
hmm
If you want to start with something a little bit more down the middle, but I love when this album gets weird with songs like Artificial Gods and
hmm
Oxygen and Hellscape. Front to back bangers. Absolutely blew me away. Beyond stoked on this album.
Hell yeah. I completely agree. I think this record's so fucking fun to listen to. Again, I'm pretty sure I gave this one two spins. Well, yeah, because I gave it a spin before the interview and then I gave it a spin today, prepping for the podcast. Both times it has left me kind of like, damn, that was fucking good. Because it has that energy that you don't see much in kind of the metalcore scene right now because it isn't strictly metalcore.
Mm-hmm.
As Shane just said, it dabbles in the experimental side where there's electronic elements, there's a little bit of rap. It's just a bunch of shit thrown at the wall and it sounds incredible. This is definitely not for the uh people who like traditional metalcore. You're gonna be pissed. You're gonna be like, what the hell happened to Craig Mabbitt? What is he doing now making no, this is for people who like to have fun and people who fucking like fun ass, smart, catchy music. There are some good ass shakers on here. There's some songs that even the second time around made me go, "What?" But by the end of the song, it wins you over because you're like, "Fuck, this is really good." It's still fun, it's still full of energy, and it's just a good fucking song. Production-wise, everything sounds fucking incredible. It's all clear. My issue sometimes with records like this where it's like they're more experimental and they lean more into the kind of the electronic side of metal is that it sounds muddled or it's just not leveled out properly and it just kind of sounds like everything is like talking over each other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have this issue with this record, which is fucking awesome. Big sigh of relief because that's typically like a damn, did anyone listen to this or am I the first one?
Yeah.
Um but I think it's a great record. My personal favorites, it's on the B side, but Meat Hook is fucking awesome. I
Mm-hmm.
love that one. I also do enjoy Oxygen with Attila because every time it comes on, I'm like, fuck, this is Attila. So you
Yeah.
can imagine my fucking shock every time. And then I also really like Redefined. And then I also do like Artificial Gods the opener because it is such a kind of like mind fuck as soon as it starts because it's like, what the fuck is happening here? And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Let them cook. Let
Kind
them
of
cook a
fire.
little bit. So there is a bit of shell shock as soon as you start because it goes right into the weird stuff, which is so fun because typically a lot of bands, newer bands, artists who are experimenting with that type of stuff leave it towards the B side. So it's like you're able to kind of like lure in unsuspecting listeners with kind of like, no, no, it's a chill record. You know this type of sound, and then hit them with weird stuff. But this one is just straight out the gate. And I think that's fucking awesome. Um, Great record. Watch the interview once it comes out, which should be in the next couple days.
Yeah.
Or just anytime if you're watching this like a week or so from now. That works too. Interview's out. Go
Yeah.
watch it. It'll be linked below.
Yes.
Probably. Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be linked below. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And Dead Rabbits is going on tour. They're on tour right now. The tour started on Friday with Wednesday 13. I will be there in New Jersey. I'm so excited to see this this band perform, get to hear these songs and finally see the Rabbit Masks in person, because we got a first peek at them because the ones for tour came in on the day we did the interview. But I'm excited to see it debut because I was actually stalking the Instagram looking at some pictures before we did this. I was like, they look so badass on stage. So
Fucking cool. Yeah.
I'm excited to see it in person.
Hell yeah. Let me
Hell
know.
yeah.
Let me know how freaky they are, you know?
I'll let you know.